Greetings and welcome to week 5 of EDU 625, Professional Development and the Learning Community. I'm John Thomsen. I'm your instructor for this course, and let's move forward through this wonderful presentation. We've spent a little time on this before. It's good to review. Hopefully all of you are developing your own working definition of a professional learning community, something you should feel good about in terms of your understanding, your local context, and your work. My working definition is educators committed to working collaboratively in an ongoing process of collective inquiry and action research to achieve better results for students they serve. This is about results. It's about the results for students. So within this course, we're spending a lot of time understanding how to plan and develop meaningful adult learning, but that meaningful adult learning has to translate into best instructional practice and ultimately increase results for students. So it is about the results for kids ultimately. Some big ideas regarding professional learning communities. We talked a little bit about this before. Attitudes follows behaviors. So people will accept new beliefs as a result of changing their behaviors. One of the biggest mistakes leaders can make is spending a great deal of time on trying to change people's beliefs, values, what they view as non-negotiables. I think it's important to spend some time on mission, vision, and value statements, but ultimately it's about changing actions and getting to best practice. For some people, behaviors are going to have to change before their beliefs change, and that's okay. We learn by doing, and the learning will be done by those who do the work. So in a professional learning community, it is about action research, being willing to try new things that make sense for student learning, moving to best practice, and there's a lot of learning in there. So clearly you want to develop a professional learning community or organization. A little bit on culture. A school's culture dictates the curriculum, instruction, opportunity to learn, and daily decisions made by educators. So really, the culture is part of everything we want students to learn and be able to do, how we intentionally make choices in the classroom to help those students learn those targets, the opportunity for all to learn, and throughout the day, the decisions we make by educators to make sure student learning is at the forefront. Notice everything I talked about was about students in terms of outcomes for students, adults making decisions to increase outcomes for kids. A good person in a bad system, the system wins out all the time. So making sure that we begin to develop the system in such a manner that all kids have great opportunities and the quality educational experience is not teacher dependent, although it's influenced by teachers, making sure the system is ensuring all students have great opportunities to learn and grow. Key PLC questions. What do you want students to learn and be able to do? That's the curriculum. How do we know the students have learned it? Those are the common formative assessments. What do we do when the students reveal they haven't learned what we want them to learn based on the common formative assessment? That's our timely, non-negotiable intervention. And then the fourth question, what do we do with the students that already know what we want them to learn? And the only way you get to that is using timely assessment and then providing those extensions for those students, basically setting up some frameworks and some learning targets and some experiences and letting them go in that framework and so they can extend their learning. Too often we teach right down the middle and hope we hit most people, but again, through clarifying the learning targets using great assessment practices, we can determine which students need intervention and support and which need extension. And again, going back to loose type leadership, those 4 questions, boy, a good PLC are very, very tight in those areas. Loose, how teachers help students learn in key areas. So there's some flexibility, but we got to be tight on some things as well. Just a couple big ideas related to professional learning communities. Keep those in your thoughts moving forward as you begin to crystallize your professional development plan, making sure you're keeping the PLC big ideas in mind. So this week we'll be working on creating effective formats, scheduling, and staffing plans to positively impact the professional development plan. So again, in this week, you're taking on some additional reading, yet reaching back to past chapters in Caffarella to make sure you're bringing your unit and final projects forward. Key question: why is it vital to attend to the details of formats, scheduling, and staffing when planning professional development plans? Key ideas will be addressed in your readings this week related to that key question. How do you best build ongoing professional development into the system and culture? Again, taking a look at not just a one and done professional development experience for adults, but how do you build that in and how do you sustain it and make it part of your culture? And what is the role of parents in developing effective PLCs? When you're moving the system forward for teachers and students, it's important to bring parents along as well and empowering them with important information so they come along and can support the efforts of the educators at home as well. So some assignments for the 5th class, concluding this wonderful Week 5 PowerPoint. Caffarella Chapter 11. Do forward and full in Chapter 4. I have provided you with a document, and these questions I came across in Peter Sange's work. Really interesting, open-ended questions that get teachers and parents to think about really important things regarding the development of students as whole students, not just learners of academic content, but students developing socially, emotionally, physically, and cognitively as well. We have 2 discussion questions, debates, and participation that you're going to engage in. And then your unit project 3, working on a local transfer of learning plan and local evaluation plan. Again, going back to your previous chapters of Caffarella, make sure that you follow those directions clearly, carefully, and make sure that you review that rubric as well. Use the left-hand column criteria to set up your paper. Look at the exceeds expectations criteria so you can hit those targets and be successful on Unit 3. Want to thank you for your participation in EDU 625. I hope you're getting some stuff out of this. I realize there's a lot of reading here. I realize there's a lot of work here. Anything worthwhile is going to take some time, energy, and effort. Hope you're getting a lot out of it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a buzz, and I'll follow up with you accordingly. Have a great week 5.